Baja Blast.
Ooh,
You finally got it in a can?
My neighbors across the street got it in a can, and I stole it after being like, do you remember that one time when we ordered ahead at Taco Bell through the app, and we just ordered 4 Baja Blasts and nothing else? And then we just,
Amazing.
because we went roller skating, and the only thing that we wanted after that was a Baja.
Did anybody just ask you like, "Hey, you okay?"
But we could hear the
Why would
teenagers
anyone ask that
laughing.
question?
We could hear them laughing on the other side of the drive-through speaker when Nate pulled up and was like, "Yeah, I'm here for a pickup for Nate," and he started laughing and he went, "Is it just the Baja Blast?" And we were like, "Yeah, that's us."
That's true. I mean, I guess at a Taco Bell they'll be like, whatever, it's a Tuesday. This is this is not the strangest thing we've seen by far. So, but it also reminds me of one of my favorite memes my buddy and I send back and forth when we're just having like a week. It'll just be like, "Hey buddy, are you having a Baja Blast today?" And then it's just like, "I hate you." It's good. It's good.
I remember
Incredible.
in college one time they were doing some deal on Taco Bell tacos, and a friend of mine was like, "Yeah, I just buy 20 at a time just to keep in my my dorm room." And I was like, "That's a great idea." So we rolled up and ordered 40 tacos, and they hated us.
We did that once with Wendy's spicy chicken sandwiches.
Oh no.
I'm afraid what you heard.
It was good.
I'm afraid what you heard was a lot of bacon and eggs, but actually, every taco you have. I love that. Well, we did it. We were live. That's cool. We seem to be stable, so let's just stream stuff, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. Well, hey, we're raising money for Doctors Without Borders. It's real money, not Canadian money. But we're what did I say the other night? Halfway to a quarter way of our goal, but we're beyond a quarter, so we're more than 55% of the way to our quarter goal for half the amount.
How does this math work, Andy?
I'm a dungeon master and I don't know how to math. It's fine.
I feel like this is accounting, not math, that he's doing right now.
That's true. I don't know how to do accounting. But hey, we raised $574 so far out of our 2,000, and that's awesome. That I can do real easy because the numbers are on the screen for me. And I just have to read them. I like that part. So, the donate link is in the chat. No, it's not.
Now it is.
Not yet.
Yeah, now it is. There are 2 donate links in the chat.
You are a sick son of
Gonna kill that dog.
Another sub, thank you. So,
He's the bad guy. You
all the bad guys.
It makes me happy to start every stream seeing Brendan Lee Mulligan's delightfully evil face. Just warms my heart. Those poor dogs, though.
I was going to say, there were so many directions that sentence could have gone in, and they were all concerning.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. I like to keep people on their toes. To quote Eden, actually, playing in our Urban Shadows game, just kind of start a sentence and that's an adventure to see where it ends up. Heck, I don't even know where it's going to end up. This is Joey Fitz 101 right there.
Was it Joey?
Yeah, it's 100% Joey Fitz.
Did I play in that game? No. Do I know about Joey Fitz?
Same.
Joey Fitz is a fucking legend.
Yes.
Everybody knows it.
When you ball so hard in season 1 that I go, you can't come back as season 2 because in season 2 as this character because there's such
just fucking grip it, baby. Slop that down, dude. Shit, yeah, dude. Crack one for the big boy.
There's such a big target on this character's back that walking out of your penthouse will get you murdered. Was a pretty solid season 1 finale move. $599, really?
I should have donated $26.
We have the option to get to $669 tonight. I'm just saying. Like
or 666. Either way, the Satan number or like the sex number plus
both,
1.
Both are good. Look, I'm just saying, it's some brave soul or souls out there who both loves charity and silly memes. They'll get us there.
Mm-hmm.
Phrasing. Anyway, let's introduce people. Let's do that. Bedlam, hello, go.
Oh, hello, hi. I am Bedlam.
He's a bad guy.
Fun fact, that was me, so it's all right. It's okay. So, wow.
Hilarity.
Okay, what am I doing right now? I'm trying to load web pages. This is just not working. So I'm Bedlam. I am playing Brindlefellow. I'm a poor farmer in the middle of Waterdeep, a half elf whose family situation is filled with strife and intrigue, and somehow ended up here in the city, just trying to get by and do well by his new friends and flatmates here at the Good Times. Boarding house? Boarding house. Yes.
The old Good Times brothel has been painted over and replaced with boarding house.
Yeah.
I kept the B though, so it's real ornate.
Yeah.
Constantly throughout the city, we have conversations with randos and we have to correct them because I think it's still a brothel. But we're, no. It's okay. It's a boarding house now. I don't work there. Anyway. So hi Bedlam, and we're going to see where Brindlefellow goes tonight. All right, that's me.
Okay. You tell people you don't work at the brothel because it's not a brothel anymore, and you just met with like sad faces as they leave.
Like, oh, is that what they're calling it these days? And you're like, no, really?
Boarding house. Right. Della.
Oh, hi. I'm Della. Tonight I will be playing Kima B. Bombler, who is a gnomish wizard, and she is a graduate student, and she's doing just fine.
Love that.
Like all grad students, doing just fine.
I'm living on caffeine, and stress is coming out of my ears.
Love that indeed. Oh. JD.
Hey, I am JD. In this game, I am playing Riv. They are a normal human rogue, don't worry about it. And they just had a really successful opening night of the play that they've been working on. They kept one of their crushes from dying, and now they're faced with an interesting situation as more and more of their love interests just kind of come into the same room. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm sure it's going to be fine. This is a dating sim. I don't know what else anyone else thinks it is, but that's the game I'm playing.
The dark, gritty dating sim.
I feel like all four of us are playing very different games.
I've said this to people, and I've actually done the rundown of like who's playing what game, and it's like every time it's just, yep, Riv's playing a dating sim.
Yeah, Riv's playing a dating sim. Lavinia's got a murder mystery going on. Brindle is got some like slice of life, like cozy pastoralist thing going, and
Family drama.
With crime.
Yeah, family drama. Coffee shop AU.
Mm-hmm.
And I think B is just in grad school.
You're in a
I was going to
conspiracy.
say dark academia.
Dark academia,
I was gonna say conspiracy
theory.
theories.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty legit. I will say this: Brindle's the only one playing the heist game so far.
It's true. Brindle's actually playing a heist.
Although I appreciate that you went with pastoral and weren't paying attention to all the crimes that Brindle has committed. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
What did we say the other day? If you don't get caught, it's not a crime.
It's true.
It's the motto for the stream, Julia.
If there's no police,
Hello.
No
police.
Speaking of the police, hello. I'm playing Lavinia Hale. She is a half-elf warlock with a celestial patron. He's small and kind, and they're getting along. He wants to be her friend. She thinks that's a power imbalance. They'll get there someday. They enjoyed the play. It was very nice. Riv should probably get out here before Lavinia makes one of their love interests disappear because she thinks he's a sketchy motherfucker. And I'm
Rude.
right. I'm right.
Like golden retrieval boy Renair.
I'm right.
Suppose. As we've kind of taken a moment to freeze time backstage where Riv, after a phenomenal play with their love interest, Renair in the wings, but with a stare, right? In the back, in the wing. A lot of NPCs in this game. You know, the spreadsheets are silly. And of course, meeting Astaire's family and seeing those, again, just steely purple eyes belonging to Astaire's sister as you're introduced, right? But as it's happening, kind of going to fade away from the, oh, that ain't it. That'll work, but that ain't it. Fade away from that to a slightly different area real quick, where it's still not the right music. Why is my music cue all messed up? Man, who did this? It was probably me. So
You or whatever gremlins have been getting to all of us today.
That's fair. We move away from that scene for a moment to another place in the city where people who don't appreciate the fine arts are hanging out. And what we see is a gentleman, very nice suit, dark black, red tie, accompanied usually by a white jacket or coat. Brindle would recognize the gentleman as his Uncle Walter, as he is sitting in what looks like a derelict building, right? Some broken and discarded furniture. Everyone's hot in this game. And windows, of course, covered with paper or curtains, but from the inside, this seems more deliberate to keep prying eyes from accidentally gazing in. And he leans casually against a wall and is staring at a, well, looks like Enku tied to a chair. I say it looks like because there's a lot of missing feathers, a lot of damage to this poor individual, and of course, bruises and blood matting down the feathers that remain. Walter is very casually loading a pistol. He says, "Now, are you sure that's all you want to tell me? Just somewhere down below? Not really protecting anybody, and, well, look at your situation. No one's really coming to get you." And he racks the pistol and says, "Now, give me a minute to just think about your answer. Maybe you can provide a little more clarity when I ask the question again." And Kentku just shakes his head and goes, That's all I know. I'm telling you, that's all I know. I can't say anymore." Walter just goes, "Can't or won't?" And we hear a crunch as someone steps over some broken glass. Coming into the room, see another familiar figure, right? Kind of a, Jersey knockoff with a cheaper suit and a bit of an accent. And we see Hagen walk in and say, "Hey, Walter, look, we got what we needed. We know what we're looking for. I don't think there's any reason to keep pressing this. Walter says, last I checked, am I in charge or are you in charge? He says, hey, you're the boss, but, I'm just saying. We don't need to add to the current violence. It's getting crazy enough out there. Pissing more people off, kicking beehives, probably not a good idea. And Walter says, that's true. I suppose another corpse showing up would further inflame the situation. And menaces down on the Kenko and goes, that's why if you don't talk, no one's ever going to fucking find you. And he says, now, tell me, where is the rest of your guild hiding? And he holds a map out in front of him and says, where are they? Kenku hesitates. Walter says, you have to the count of 3. 1, 2. And the Kenku leans down and touches his beak to the map on one of the northwest portions of the sewer, south west portions of the sewer area. Says, they're down there, please. Please just stop. And Hagen goes, all right, it's there. We got it. Come on, Walter, let's get out of here. Been here for too long anyway. And Walter says, well, you're right, we should head out. It's not safe around here. I do have one more favor to ask from you, Hagen. As they were both walking towards the door. And he goes, yeah, what do you need? He goes, clean up that mess back in there. He turns, he points the pistol and fires back into the room. No loose ends. Hear a thud as the body hits the floor. Hagen goes, yeah, all right. No loose ends. We fade away. Riv, you're staring at Astar's family. And, mother and father, of course, extend handshakes to meet you. Very courteous, very kind. And sister just stares. And after a moment of hesitation, also just extends a courteous hand to you and goes, nice to meet you. Riv, was it?
It was, and it is a pleasure to meet you as well. Riv is 100% flushed and sweating because they failed their deception roll, but I don't think it's so much that they're trying to hide the fact that they've seen her before. They're trying to hide the fact that they are staring into those purple eyes and they are remembering, Julia, stop judging me. They are remembering that blade pressed against their throats. That is what they are reacting to. That is why they are flushed.
Sure hope this doesn't awaken anything in me.
Where is it?
There's a moment of just like awkward tension, and Astaire says, all right, so like I said, those are my parents. This is Esfeli, this is my sister. I'm glad you're all getting a chance to meet each other. And then the door to the backstage kicks in as Renair, followed by Lavinia, B, and Brindle, if they want, and CW all come kind of parading in from backstage. with like the flowers they had for their performance, as well as like somebody being like, "Hey, you're not allowed back here," and
It's
Rainier
fine.
just says, I bought the backstage pass. It's okay."
Oh no, Della.
Della, you're muted.
B completely ignores security.
just
Like,
walks in.
like literally will walk through their legs, like under their legs, to get to where she's going.
Small privilege.
Riv! That was so good.
B,
Tense moment kind of
that
breaks.
is so kind. I don't think I'm the one you should be saying that to, though. It was of course Astaire, our leading lady.
Astaire, that was so good.
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
like gives her reaches up to give her flowers. I got you some flowers.
Oh, these are lovely. Thank you. Now, Riv, that is too kind. Like, I know that I was the one on stage, but I also know that none of that happens without the whole cast. So these are just as she like pulls out like half the flowers and like hands them to you. Like, these are as much for you as for me.
Riv takes them. Riv does put a flower behind Astaire's ear.
She like brushes her hair back, like, "Oh, thank you." And Rainier just kind of looks back and forth and is like, "I also brought you flowers."
Brindle also jumps in. I also brought you flowers.
CW jumps in. I also brought flowers.
I also brought flowers, but I didn't realize I was supposed to bring flowers, so I like grabbed some from the garden out there. They're really nice though. These are daffodils. They're in season.
And he's just like, mm-hmm.
Are you supposed to bring? He like looks over at B. He's like, is it roses? Is it you're supposed to do roses for theater?
I'll be entirely honest. I have no idea. I just got big ones.
I mean, I like the flowers you brought, but like, everyone else brought roses. I wasn't sure. It's the thought that counts, right?
It's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Look, the fact is, they don't know who we are, and they're gonna forget who we are as soon as we leave. Not Riv. Riv will remember who we are, but you know, these are like actors. They've got like lines to memorize. They don't have time to remember us.
Brindle, I think
actually
Brindle would have
kinda
leaned over to Lavinia, like, are these the right kind of flowers?
Yes. Technically, there is no specified type of flower to get unless you're trying to say something very, very specific. But unless there's something I don't know about you and Riv, no.
Brandon hands over like a bouquet of roses to Riv.
A specific dozen red roses.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter unless it matters to you.
I'm actually going to roll a quick. Okay. That's very funny. I think Riv and Rainier and Astaire just like give each other both like a look for a second, and then look both at Riv, and then look back at each other, and then the moment passes.
Okay, I really want to see if I notice that. Because otherwise I'm just gonna say I do.
Can we
I don't.
Can we roll?
Neither one of them are trying particularly to hide this interaction. It's not like overt, but if you're in the conversation, you'd probably see it.
Yeah, I mean, B saw all the other stuff and it's just like, oh, drama.
And Sarah's like, well, if you'd like, my family and I were all going to dinner afterwards. You're welcome to join. And Rainier says, oh, I was also thinking about maybe hosting something at my house afterwards for anybody who wanted to come out and enjoy themselves.
That could be lovely, a family dinner followed by an event afterwards.
Oh yeah, we could do both. That sounds fun.
We just watched 7 acts. Are you sure you're not tired to have to do this all again? We wouldn't want to put you out.
Oh, honestly, one of the best things I find after a performance is to just go out and, well, not have to worry about lines. Kind of more fun when things are a little unscripted, right?
That's my favorite.
No. Astair's parents, they say, oh, well, if all of you want to enjoy your dinner, we prefer Astair, go have fun with your friends. We'll, of course, catch up afterwards. It was a lovely show. It was beautiful. You were beautiful. And it's your mother and I loved it. And Astair says, oh, thanks. He gives them both like big hugs. And the whole time, like, Isveli is just like staring at Riv, like, I don't mind tagging along for dinner.
How do you spell that real quick? Sorry to
Yes, tell me.
Esvele, Isveli.
We would love to have you along.
Great.
And I would love to get to know you a bit more. I dare say Astair has been quite busy working on lines and blocking and everything else. She has not had the time to tell me much about her family, and I would love to learn more.
I think B like leans over to Lavinia. Do you think they know they're doing that? Or is that just what they're like?
Part of me would like to hope that they don't know for the sake of other people's feelings. But
I told CW not to bring snacks, that was probably gauche, but now I'm wishing he had.
Radio's like, I have snacks.
Got snacks? Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
got snacks.
Sick.
I offered some to Lavinia. She didn't want any earlier.
Crazy.
I ate before I came. I knew it was 7 acts. I ate before I came.
Well, that's why I brought snacks, because it was 7 acts.
7 snacks.
7 snacks.
7 fishes.
You all move kind of from backstage as people filter routes to like a nicer upscale dinner venue in the North Ward area. You know what? Let's just be real gauche about this. We'll call this place like the Silver Spoon. Let's just be terrible. And so you have this lovely dinner with obviously the 4 of you: CW, Rainier, Astair, and Esveli, right? I want to try and catch a couple images or like snippets from this dinner, right? As people are like finally getting to eat after 3.5 hours, right? Because some, especially Astair, is ravenous, having to just put forth all that energy on stage. And so there's like obviously there's food, there's wine. This is a nice. I picture this as like a nice kind of classy place that has like a fountain inside of it. You know, I think Brindle's first thought is like, God, how much is this place going to cost? But very it's Astair says, oh, since I invited you all, I think it's only fair that it's my treat. And Renee says, we can split it, you and I. We just, I don't know the reason to put all the burden on you. After all, this is your celebration, right? She says, oh, it's really kind of you.
Extremely kind. Very kind.
Yeah.
Very, very kind. Very, very kind. Very generous of you both.
Yes.
A toast.
Yeah. Oh, more wine? Yeah. And they order some more bottles of wine. So let me ask this for the characters. Let me like a little snippet of like what interactions you're having during this, like, probably I think at times very fun and sometimes as the conversation like lulls, very awkward dinner. What's going through people's minds?
I think Brindle's is probably easier than everybody else's, so I'll go first. This is a simple one. Brindle's extremely happy to have just found out that he's not paying for any of this and is ready to order more from the menu than he was before. And he's having a grand old time. Looking like sort of looking forward to and anticipating what might be happening with the gala tomorrow more than what was happening here. The theater was fun. It was a good time. It was pretty neat. But like, I don't know. That's I think he's mostly just in the moment here, happy to be at this restaurant with a bunch of people, joking around. Generally having a good time, oblivious to 90% of the undercurrents of what's happening here. That's totally fine. So,
like, CW like nudges you at one point as the menus are out and goes, "They have a 50-ounce steak." 50.
I could eat that. I think I could eat that.
Yeah, we should do it. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, can we get the end of the orders? And like these just
CW.
Yeah, these just mountain steaks are brought out in front of you with just like ludicrous amounts of sides. Awesome. And then just the two of you just start like chowing down with this wine. CW tries to order a beer. They're like, we don't just wine here. It's like
Brindle's inability as a half elf to keep up with this dwarf is just he just goes out with ferocity. But yeah, there's no contest. This CW is just out eating him at every step. But that's all right. Brindle tries.
Even by the end of CW is just like, oh, just stuffed. You shouldn't have gone for the sides first. That's how they get you. What about everybody else?
I think Lavinia's still kind of like in a little bit of her awkward, not 100% sure she's supposed to be here.
Just kind of got carried along by the current.
Yeah, Lavinia was not 100% up until the time we all left the boarding house. Lavinia didn't think she was going to the theater because she didn't think she was invited. She got those flowers for Brindle, went about everything, and then it was like everyone's like, all right, here's your ticket, let's go. And she's standing there like, oh fuck, okay. And now she's just like here. And she's just like, okay.
I think as people are being polite, Esther's like, so Lavinia, what do you do?
I work for the City Watch.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
Yeah. I'm good at those. Natural 20 for a 23. I'm real good at those.
That's phenomenal because that was a high roll. But you see Espelay, who like was not really involved, like listening to the conversation, was kind of just like cutting into her food with this like really ornate knife and just kind of staring at Riv. Here's like, I work for the watch, and you just see her eyes like deviate and look over, and she just pauses for a second, goes back to her food, but you can see that she's like actively listening to what you're saying based on her body language. And Esther says, oh, that sounds sounds lovely. Is it hard?
It's less difficult than my previous job, but it does keep me busy. Formerly I was a member of the guard with my father.
Oh wow.
And she like gestures at the missing arm.
Oh no.
They decided I needed a change of scenery, so I'm in the watch now. But it's still, principle-wise, it's the same. It's taking care of the city and the people who live in it, but it's in theory less dangerous.
It's still great that they like you're still a part of all that, right? I know a lot of people would, after you heard like that, they might not want to do more of that, but that's very noble of you.
Yes, they were surprised too when I came back.
Well, you showed them then, right? Cheers to you.
Thank you. You as well. Beautiful performance.
And this fella's like, watch. That's interesting. So what do you all do about all the crime that's happening recently? I mean, you get the Zentarum acting all violent and like there's all sorts of just mayhem happening in the city. People robbing nobles.
Mm-hmm.
It seems overwhelming.
It can be, especially since, the violence seems to be increasing faster than anybody can make a decision, agree on a decision on what to do, but I'm currently in a different area.
What is that?
Cold cases.
Interesting.
And what is it that you do? Do you also do do you act like your sister, or do you?
Oh, no. Bev's never one for much acting talent. That all went to stare. No, I'm in the family business. I make wine. It's quite good. They actually have some on the menu if you'd like to try it. Because I personally think the bottles we have at home are a little better.
That's the way
We keep the
go. Yes.
good stuff. Yeah. But and she waves over one of the waiters and orders a bottle of ruby wine.
I mean, I'm curious. Craftsmanship.
I'm gonna say from his 50-ounce steak, Brindle would have keyed in on Zentarum being dropped, and it would have started listening in on her conversation for sure. So,
like that.
Also interested in the wine being ordered, but now a little like
That's
paying a little bit of attention to the sister.
That's Brindle's power word.
Oh, hey.
Something.
Meow.
No, so the wine's brought to the table. They bring a couple bottles, and if you're an actual wine connoisseur, like this is very good wine. It's very expensive, but it's expensive because it is quality, not because the prices have been jacked up for a brand name, right? It is just delicious, smooth, and well crafted, right? If you're not a wine connoisseur, it's good. You probably take the cheaper version, but it is quite a good product. She says, "Well, cheers. Hopefully you know stop the crime, stop the bad guys, and catch all those thieves." Clink.
This is really good.
Thank you.
Brindle,
very
of course,
proud of
does
that.
not sip his wine. He just gulps down a whole bunch and then asks for.
He's.
It's fine. It's fine. Cool.
I think.
What's up with B?
I think B spends a lot of time kind of in between, sort of chatting with CW up until the steak thing, where she's just like, okay.
Do you want a couple bites of this? I don't know if I can finish it.
I could
50
probably
ounce.
only eat a couple bites of it.
I think it weighs as much as you do.
I think it does.
Like it's
actually.
It's really good though, but like I don't have the.
I believe it. Here, let me try some.
Like feed you
She'll eat some of that. I think she kind of sort of spends sort of some time there, but also there's a lot of like what they sort of perceive as like running like traffic control with Rainier. So like whenever Riv is focused on a stair, B will ask a question about the Neverember estates, like the state grounds, just sort of like throw in like oh, and how about this? There's sort of like
Oh,
just
my family is actually we have a long line of like theatrical patronage and like I'm sorry, what were you saying B about Neverember? What?
oh, I was just wondering. Actually, I am actually interested in your theatrical patronage. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh, well, so fun fact, between my father and the Castellanters were actually the ones responsible for the construction of the Eclipse Theater. Not me personally, but our parents, grandparents, going back about two generations. Before my father was the Open Lord, there was the Castellanter as the Open Lord, Waterdeep, and
Oh,
the two of them, well, they invested deeply into the theater.
well, that's fascinating. That's really interesting. Do you know uh what have you tried acting? Your family, have you tried going on stage or engaging in the theater yourself at all?
Uh, no, I've been more of a spectator to the theater. My passion honestly lies in dueling.
Dueling.
Yeah, it's that's an art in its own sake. Because he just like, starts going off on like the technicalities of you know what makes a good duelist. Um, there's something. Sorry, I had a note I'm trying to pull because I want to give you a name, and I'm trying to figure out where I put it in my notes. Oh, he says Castellanter was the Open Lord before his
Hmm.
father. It is Caledorn Castellanter was the Open Lord of Waterdeep before Dagalt Neverember became Open Lord.
Caledorn Castellanter.
Caledorn Castellanter. The name is familiar, right? It's not like a big secret in the same way that you'd say like, oh yeah, like I guess Buren was a president too, right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's a name that you would know from history, but you're like, I don't really.
that was before I came to Waterdeep, so
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Oh, this would have been easily like 80 some years ago.
Okay, so possibly even before I was even born.
Yeah, because if you think like Caledon was the Open Lord for a while, then Dagalt Neverember took over, had a reasonably long tenure as the Open Lord, and then now just recently has become Edwin Silverhand. So, but yeah,
Okay, so
you
I
also know
think
that Caledon Castellanter is deceased. He,
okay,
that's also a thing that like he passed away some years ago.
okay.
Quick interrupty question, but since we were on the Open Lord topic, is that a position kind of like the Pope where you can't really, except for that one guy, you can't really retire, you die out of it? Or is that like you can come and go from it?
Lore question. Great. So,
Yeah.
now
It's one that I've been meaning to ask, but it keeps slipping my mind, and then since we're talking about Open Lords.
in the city of Waterdeep, the it is run by effectively two groups working together, right? There are 16 lords of Waterdeep. 15 of them are mass lords, right? One is an open lord. The open lord traditionally is chosen by the mass lords when the current open lord decides to retire, becomes deceased, dies, what have you, like from not natural causes, like whatever the case may be. Um, this tends to be important because usually the open lord deals with all like open political matters, but there's also a deal where in court, mass lords are frequently there as well. So if you were to take something and like appeal it to the highest judgeship effectively, the mass lords would actually like do a tribunal and review things. So for things with the guard or the watch that go beyond standard judiciary like practice to be adjudicated, it would be done by a tribunal of mass lords or presented to the open lord with two mass lords there to vote. Not everyone shows up in court all the time. It's usually about 3 or 4 of them at a time, plus the open lord.
Is it kind of a safe assumption that if you were the Open Lord, some member of your family is probably a masked lord.
Good possibility. A lot of the Open Lords become Open Lords from being a masked lord. The big takeaway of all that is that the masked lords have a lot of like background bureaucratic power because they have a lot of control over policy. The Open Lord has a lot of direct power because they can literally just walk out and make decrees and say things. And like, yeah, there's still a check and balance on that, but like, it requires the people on the back end and as master lords to get their stuff together to actually like counter it. The downside is if you're the Open Lord, you have a big old target on your face. So if people don't like you, they will just murder you. Sometimes master lords murder Open Lords. Sometimes Open Lords just get killed by the populace because they are not popular. So, but that's the pro and the con of being the Open Lord.
Yeah, I think B spends a lot of time sort of mostly chatting with Rainier, again, sort of using all of their like all of the skills of we don't feel like learning today, let's get the professor on a tangent.
Well, see, like, the difference between like a standard slash and thrust, right, is the actual opportunity that your opponent has for a parry. Now, if you combine that with a fluid movement of like good footwork, the the effectiveness of your attack will of course go up, but it also increases your ability to maneuver on the off chance that you miss or you're blocked, and that way you're not left. And he just continues on this thread of I'm happy to talk about dueling.
I think B actually like gets invested and starts like at a certain point it stops being like, oh yes, that's so fascinating. It'd be like, wait, do that again. Tell me that again. And it's like picks up like a little like the little dinner knives and is like show me.
Yeah.
And like it winds up being kind of like a like it's two people like just kind of like catches his enthusiasm.
No, it's this point here where you have like the standard like cross defense. Everyone wants to go clockwise, but if you actually move counterclockwise in a parry, you have more likely opportunity to disarm the person and giving yourself a simultaneous strike. And the thing is, he's very happy to talk about this.
I think,
however you feel about him, like he knows a lot about this shit.
Yeah. I think the one time that she really breaks away is when when Astaire's family wine comes out. I think she tastes it and like sort of steps back, makes eye contact with what's her name? What's the sister's name again?
Esphili.
Esphili. Like makes eye contact with Esphili and just like raises the glass, like not in a
Raise my back too, like
not like there's not really a like a anything. It's just like a oh shit, that's really good, and like toast. Also, is gnome is not eating a whole lot, so like kind of is like making up for the fact that these two have ordered like the most expensive shit they possibly could. It's just like I'm having like a nice salad. But also like partially because she knows that she's gonna end up eating a not insignificant portion of CW's steak.
Yeah, at least sliding pieces to you.
Can Brindle do an insight check on Astaire's sister while Rainier is describing all of this about dueling and getting into the ins and outs of his dueling techniques?
Absolutely.
Where'd you go?
You can. Bye.
You can't. Bye.
Peace out.
Now
I'm looking for one of my books.
That is a 14 for whatever that might mean.
Okay. I just wanted to grab one of my books real quick to have no reason. 14. What are you looking for specifically? Just like her general reaction, or are you looking for something?
Yeah, kind of curious, right? Only because she brought up the Zentarum before. I don't know if he would have caught her necessarily reacting to Lavinia talking about the city watch and then suddenly looking over, but just kind of generally like seeing how this is playing out. Like Brindle's I guess he's familiar with everybody else's kind of role there except for hers, right? So
okay. On a 14, you look at her and kind of sizing her up. She spends most of the time kind of just grilling Lavinia on like, what are you doing like with crime? And like, man, isn't it crazy that people keep getting robbed? That's a huge
Watching.
you know, and there's like a bit of like polite verbal sparring going back and forth here. As Rainier is describing his like dueling tricks, she does occasionally like glance over and is listening. It seems like she is evaluating the information that he's saying, and like, I don't know, for lack of a better explanation, like just making a checklist of like what seems to make sense. Like, yeah, that's legit. That's legit. Okay, this guy might be legit, you know? Kind of cataloging that breakdown. Doesn't ask any questions, just listens.
okay, that's all.
Yeah.
It continues eating this 3-pound steak.
As dinner starts to kind of wind down, you know, Esther says, I want to make a toast actually to Riv, because, you know, again, yes, like I was the one on stage, but that technical effect at the end of the monologue, you know, unrehearsed, I'm sure Roberto lost his mind until the applause at the end, but that was incredible. How did you do it?
Stare, as always, you are far too kind and generous. It's all just stage magic.
I loved it. Well, she raises a glass and says, "To stage magic."
Stage magic.
And Esplay's like, "Yeah, stage magic." Clink. What's going through Rip's head right now?
Honestly, what's going through Riv's head is I need to have a lot of conversations with a lot of different people because we all need to figure out how cool we would be about things going any further. So that is definitely a thought that is running through their head as this meal progresses, as they've been trying to give Astaire as much attention as they can, as they have given Rainier what attention they can when B doesn't have his ear, as they're keeping an eye on Astaire's sister throughout all of this. That is what they are thinking. And then there is a much quieter voice in the back of their head going, that was a stupid fucking move. Why did you dare use something like that on stage? It was worth it because it kept the stair safe, but now you have attention on you again.
Um, as the dinner kind of starts to wind down, there's a moment where, you know, Rainier kind of breaks from his conversation with B and says, "You know, Riv, I feel terrible that we didn't actually get to spent a lot of time conversing. I know this was this stairs night, and I didn't want to. Don't want to take that away. I was just wondering, maybe at dinner, if you'd like to go for a walk and catch up. Um, you know, if it's been a long day, I understand.
Can I do an insight check on Astaire and her reaction to this?
Okay, yeah.
That is a 15.
Okay. Stara looks between you and Renair, and it's not overt in any way, but you feel like just a shift of energy, kind of a downshift. Uh, as Renair's like, "Yeah, do you want to just go for this walk?" It's like also wouldn't call it jealousy, but like a, oh well, that kind of sucks. Doesn't say anything. Just and turns and is like talking to her sister for like a little side conversation.
I think in that case, what Riv does is, first to Rainier say, I would love for a chance for the two of us to catch up. And then says, but I should of course say goodnight to our leading lady first.
Of course. If it is late, we can always just get coffee again. That was a very nice day.
That was lovely, and a walk at night would be equally as lovely. Just give me a minute and we can spend some time catching up.
Of course, of course. And he like tries to wave down one of the waiters to get the bill. Um,
I won't stalk you this time. I promise. I promise.
you see, as Philly is like, Riv, walking around at night can be a little dangerous.
I have heard that.
Yeah, just something to think about, right? Just be safe out there. It's a lot of crime.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
nighttime's
never
when I
do
lost
know
my
who could
arm.
be out in the dark.
You never know what kind of people are out at night.
It's true. Well, a stare.
Oh yes.
A stare. That stage magic could never compare to the magic that you showed all of us tonight.
Like brushes her hair back again with the little rose still there. Thank you. That means a lot. I know we've rehearsed it so many times, but that opening night is just it was a big hurdle, and I was a little scared, nervous, I guess. But um, thank you. It means a lot for you to say that.
Well, I would never have known that there were any nerves because you were beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And watching you is always a delight. And Rib takes Astaire's hand.
When you say that, as Villy like tilts her head and just looks at you, like doesn't say a word, just
Word choice. Word choice.
Riv ignores her completely.
Yeah.
And then raises Astaire's hand to their lips and kisses the back of it.
She blushes.
B at this point just like I think like just sort of looks at Rainier and is just like, "My dude, I've been trying, man."
Lavinia just makes direct eye contact with B.
Rainier just looks at Riv and goes, it's actually been kind of a long day, so maybe we'll catch up with coffee at a different time.
And Riv looks over at Rainier. Yes, they are tangling this knot even more.
Lavinia's gonna stand up and be like, I have to go.
So work in the morning. Brindle, at one point, you see like the bill on the table is like 50 gold.
She's like, yeah, it's dangerous to walk home alone. Brindle, let's go. Brindle, let's go.
What?
Come on.
I'm like in the middle of cheersing CW like for the 10th time. Wait, what? Why?
Lavinia is abandoning B to this.
Isn't there a dessert menu?
B is going to stay. B might actually say to Rainier, like, would you like company to walk home?
Actually, yeah, that'd be nice. I'm sorry, I meant to say 20, not 50. That's too much money.
I just did the math. I was like 50.
Yeah, no, 20. It's about $4,000 to have this like all-out 5-star Michelin experience with like multiple bottles of wine, and yeah, it's a lot of money. But there's also
that sounds right.
It's 80 at the table, so we're looking at like, I don't know, $450 a person ish.
This is like the arts district of like a metropolitan city.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the North Ward. Everything's more expensive up here. You're in like a very classy restaurant. It's called the Silver Spoon. It's great. All the rich people down here.
You said that and I forgot.
How could you forget that?
We deleted it from our memories. Just like
put it in the notes.
Too silly.
Yeah, I will put it in the notes.
Yes, now it's written down. No, Rainier says, yeah, that'd be nice. And CW is like, yeah, I think actually a walk would be good. I got a lot of steak. I'm mostly steak at this person. I'm more steak than dwarf.
I
guess if it's time to go.
Do you think I can get one of the steaks to go? Oh, you already paid the bill? Okay, never mind.
I think B will sort of lean over and give CW like a kiss on the cheek and be like, why don't you walk with Brindle and Lavinia? I'll meet you back home.
Yes. All right. Cool. I'll see you at home.
Oh no, now Lavinia is responsible for you two. Yeah. Sorry, he's not weird about it. I'm weird because I'm processing it. He's like, okay, cool. Like, sounds good. So
Brindle stretches and pats his belly and very satisfied. Thanks, Rainier, and thanks, Astaire. And anyway, yeah, heads on out. Follows Lavinia.
Okay, so Brindle, Lavinia, CW leave.
Yep.
B and Rainier are getting ready to leave. Leaving Riv with Astaire and Svelli.
Correct.
Cool. So, yeah, everyone kind of gathers their coats. B and Riv head out the door. Correction, B and Rainier head out the door. All that's left is the three of you and this table of just demolished food and wine. And Astaire says, well, do you need a coach home, or are you?
No, I can make my own way back. Would you like me to walk the two of you home?
Astaire says, I be honest about something real quick?
Of course.
You offered to walk me home the other day, and I was kind of weird about it, right? I know I was weird. I I didn't want to say anything, at least till after opening night. This is weird. And his belly goes, she's embarrassed that our family's rich. She like shoots her a look and says, yeah, yes, thank you. But that's not that. It's I wanted to actually make it in the theater world, not based on my family's merit, but on my actual own talents to see if I actually had skill. I didn't want to be just, casted in a leading role because of my family name. So I kind of just hid that. And so when you asked me just to walk me home the other night, I didn't want that known quite yet. Yeah, I'm sorry if that was weird for you.
And Riv says, Stare, I can understand that completely in terms of not wanting you to be judged by that part of your identity, wanting to see who you are on your own 2 feet. What you are is amazing, and who you are is not going to change that for me. And if I'm honest, because I would not want our friendship to be predicated on anything other than that, I might have followed you home. I wanted to make sure you got back safely.
Come here, throw a persuade here, please.
That is a dirty 20.
I'll take it. She looks. There's like a flash of emotions that kind of go across her face. Obviously, like that's kind of weird. And then like actually processes the sincerity of your words and goes, "Okay, well, I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but
I understand that completely.
I do
My friend recently
understand.
did that to me as well, and it was strange.
Is that like a thing that you all do?
Apparently,
Oh,
we're
okay.
working on it.
Um, I I do. I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate your concern. So thank you for that. Please don't do that again. If you can, you don't have to. You can just walk with us.
I much prefer that as an option.
And his belly's like, yeah, I guess. Um, and the three of you head out of the restaurant into the night. Right. Um, it's a lovely evening. It's one of those like nice spring evenings where it's like just warm enough to be out without a jacket, but you could wear one and get away with like not dying in the heat. So it's perfect for like fashionable weather. Um, the three of you kind of start heading towards the Rosnar estate, right? I'm gonna cut away real quick and actually cut over to uh, B and Rainier, and you know, kind of head out of the restaurant and start heading kind of like southwest, right? And Rainier says, "Yeah, this is nice. It's a nice night."
It is. Do you smoke? And she starts pulling out a little like pouch.
No, not usually, but that sounds nice too.
She'll sort of like really like expertly like roll a pair of just cigarettes and hand him one.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he
summon a little prestidigitation fire to light them both.
takes it. Thanks. It's just smooth.
It's there's two things I spend money on. Tea and tobacco.
Hmm.
It's little things when you're living on a grad student income, little things that make a difference.
I get that. How's that? You said you work for the academy, right? How's that? How's that?
It's interesting. It's harder work than I've ever done. Um, more more brain work than physical work. You know, I'm used to working with my hands. You know, I know I don't look like it, but I used to be. I'm a stonemason
Oh,
by training. So the university is a sort of lateral move for me.
that's fantastic. And my father actually spent a lot of time working with some of the professors over there.
Yeah,
Had a lot of respect. What was your department?
I'm in uh, essentially magical architecture. So it does
Hmm.
a lot of combination with crossover with abjuration and illusion and my personal focus is I do a lot of divinatory magic, mostly sort of identifying like to identify like older structures, sort of the archaeology side of um of the business. But of course, new magical structures are being still built all the time. So we're uh, that's I just like the history. I love the history.
I think you and my dad would have gotten along pretty well. Actually, he loved magical architecture. It was a He'd always talk about it. It was a like huge interest of his. Um, Spent a lot of time. I can't remember what the professor's name was, but yeah, he just spent a lot of days at the academy.
Specifically looking at architecture, might have been Dr. Firefall.
No, he wanted to. What did he say? Not to apologize. He would come back and he'd talk about these things, and in the state of our relationship, I was not really interested in where he was spending time elsewhere because he was never home. So I was more resentful. That anyway, there's
I
something about
know.
like architecture, and he said illusions too that you were interested in. That was a big thing of his.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the 2 seconds. Scrolling up,
checking notes.
checking notes,
Lot
checking
lot of
notes.
NPCs in this game.
It's a lot of NPCs in this game, and they're all hot.
They really
Oh,
are.
Professor Corbett? That name's familiar?
Orbit. Yeah, that rings a bell.
All right. All right. Another red string is tied in B's internal conspiracy board.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
so I just want to say, I don't really know what's going on with you and Riv,
It makes two of us.
and I want to say I think I wouldn't read too much into it.
No, I don't. I don't want to be that guy, right? I don't want to be. I don't want to. It's their night. It's a celebration of a phenomenal play, and I can just Riv and I can spend time together another time. I understand that. It's not quite how I saw the night going, but I get it. So I'm glad that Riv had a good night. I really am.
I'm not sure how much of this is how much. What does this sound like? A man trying to convince himself?
He kind of like there's definitely a vibe of like sincerity. But I mean, honestly, it was like, yeah, it would have been nice to spend the evening with Riv instead, because that sounds lovely. Oh, I bring these flowers, and then Riv and I like spend some time together afterwards, and it's romantic, and it's like, no, it's not what happened at all. Well, crap. you know,
I think Riv is a shiny person, and I think they attract a lot of other really shiny people. And if you yourself do not feel shiny, you can feel overshadowed.
hmm, that's good advice. I like talking to you, B.
I like talking to you. I'd never
Yeah,
thought about dueling before, but it actually makes sense to me because you were talking about the sort of the motion, like all this anticipated stuff. It had me thinking about maybe this seems a little weird, but it had me thinking about the somatic components of spells, the way we do spell casting. There you get into this routine where everybody knows you have to do A, B, C. You have to do it like this. They kind of go off on their own little tangent about like specific motions with spell casting.
there's
Um,
there's 100% that same level of like reinvestment energy. Where now you're just nerding out about this thing, and Riv and Renair's just like, oh hell yeah.
and I think the the way I see this kind of like ending is they like get to a point where it would be like too far for either of them to like follow the other person and then go back. And they like like fist bump and like kind of go their own ways. Like fully like, yeah, we're like bros now.
Renair does say, hey, if you ever want to come by and like I have practice swords. You can come by and you can duel, you can mess around. I've got some target dummies you can hit. It's honestly incredibly refreshing.
That sounds amazing. Like, I'm not even lying. I'm going to be so bad at it. Like, again, my reach is approximately a quarter of yours. Uh, I that this that sounds hilarious. I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. Um, this was fun. I had a good time tonight. So
I
fist bump.
boom.
And the two of you kind of part ways.
I'm gonna be as B kind of like walks down as sort of like that like yeah bro hangouts like vibe kind of like fades. I think they start walking a little bit more somberly and are just like really getting concerned about the amount of crossover the various open lords have with the Professor of Illusion.
Interesting. Do me a favor. I need you to roll a d20. You want an 11 or higher.
Just a regular ass
Sure.
D20 straight.
Flat d20.
One flat D20 for you. That is a 16.
Okay. You have a very chill walk back.
Cool.
Hate
All right.
that.
Good stuff.
Good.
Hey, streets
Good.
are dangerous. There's all sorts of weird shit out there.
Mm-hmm.
But does not concern B.
People look at them and they assume it is a small child.
Oh no!
Like when there's like some kid out at night, and they're like, "Wait, I don't care. It's not
Yeah.
my problem."
How many people are like, "Are you lost, sweetheart?" And you're like,
Just a gnome.
Like, oh shit, I'm sorry.
Chill. There's dozens of us in the city. Dozens.
For Brindle, Lavinia, and CW, you're all walking back as well, kind of taking like a different, like you kind of went more straight south. If we were like to plot this on a map, like you basically head that way, and then about 15 minutes behind you is B, also eventually heading down the same main trade road.
I'd say at this point, Brindle and CW might, in fact, be singing. As far as
sea shanties.
I think they try to find the commonality to the folk songs that Brindle would know from his home and the sea shanties that CW would know, and try to find like the common ground between the two. And they probably found one, and they're singing it boisterously as they go down the street. So yes.
And we'll roll the old Sherry along, we'll roll the old Sherry along, and it all came on behind. I just had way too much of that wine. It's not beer, but it's still good.
Oh, it's so good. That's amazing. I want some more of that, but I want somebody else to pay for it. That was great.
Anyone ever tell you you have a phenomenal dwarven singing voice?
I have not, but thank you. That is the highest compliment. You, sir, yourself could put elves to shame.
Hey, do you sail? Do you sail, Lavinia? You like sailing?
I've never been on a boat.
Oh, you'll love it. You get to come by.
I have never really sailed. I would love to. That'd be awesome.
No. So we're supposed to sail for oh no, I'm so drunk I forgot the name.
Fleet's Week?
Fleet's Week, yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
thank
Fleet's
you.
Week.
Like checking my notes again.
Yeah,
it starts in like a day, like after tomorrow. It's gonna be huge.
What?
Yeah,
that's awesome. Can we go out on the ship for it? That'd be awesome.
Yeah. You got look. There's a sailing competition, and like he's guys going into details about like how they classify by different ships and like the points you can win by doing maneuvers. But it's a lot of fun. And like I know, a little tragic, right? Because we lost one of our sailing members. And it kind of like looks at Lavinia and is like, but
yeah.
Do you need? I don't know how to sail yet, but do you need somebody to help? Like I could come and sail.
Yeah, no, I would love to have both of you out there, right? Even if it's not for competition, like we can just take the lament out and we can just go through the heart. It's beautiful.
Yes, maybe sometime other than Fleet's Week, I would feel. I cannot describe how awful I would feel to participate during a competition and not be able to actually contribute.
Oh, I mean, we never win. No, we don't. It's not about. I mean, it is kind of about winning, but like, come on, there are a lot of people. Look, we don't sail full time, right?
Maybe we can bring some of that wine with us.
Yeah, sailing wine. All right, I usually go with sailing beer, but I'll try sailing. That was good wine. No, like we're not professionals by any means. Like, but it's still fun. It's a fun thing to do. It's a great week, and like you meet so many interesting people. they open up the other ships during Fleet's Wake. You can go out and about and you can check out some of the guard ships. The Harbor Division actually comes out as well. It's incredible. It's so much
really
fun.
Cool.
Yeah. And then
enjoy seeing the Harbor Division.
The fun part. Oh no, they're really cool. There are a lot of cool people in that. I love them to death. And the cool thing is nobody like says this part out loud, but like if you just enter the contest, you get an invite to the shipwright ball. Like any kind. So like that's a big deal.
What?
There's a lot of good
cool.
wine, a lot of good beer, and I think Captain Zod's supposed to host it this year. It's gonna be great. He knows how to throw a party.
I'll totally come and sail. That sounds awesome.
Did you hear it? He's got some new thing. He's got like these cool little like weird automatons that he's like gonna try to debut. It's been like a big hush thing, but like people are talking about it down at the harbor.
What's an automaton?
He made like these like humanoid looking things, right? But they're like made of metal, and they're like enchanted to just be kind of alive or something. I don't know, but like they're supposed to do all sorts of cool stuff.
That's neat.
And it's supposed to be a big deal that he's going to like debut it and like maybe like sell some or give them away. It's no one really knows like the details, but don't tell anybody I told you. It's not. It's kind of a hush thing.
It's one of those secrets that lots of people know about.
Look, when you go down to the docks, when you're sailing, you're conversing to pass the time and you're drinking. And when you're not sailing, you're conversing to pass the time and drinking. So you don't keep secret to the docks. It's kind of hard.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to that then. That's neat. Brendel also starts thinking about how certain jobs might be easier if you could have a automaton doing stuff for you. That would be cool.
Right?
Nice. Very cool. He also puts two together and thinks about like, okay, wait, you can go onto all these ships owned by other people?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. He thinks about that job that Hagen came to him about that was supposed to pay 50 gold pieces. It seems utterly wrong. But like, I don't know, that kind of lines up with this Fleet's Wake thing. And he starts thinking, I don't know, maybe in his kind of drunken state, is this something legitimate that Walter's doing? Is this like a big thing because of Fleet's Wake? I don't know. Anyway, then he returns back to the present, and man, sailing sounds great. There's so much of it here. I've never lived right near the water like this before. So
it's beautiful. Bring a hat.
Okay.
It's a little warm out there.
Okay. Yeah. I'll buy it. I'll find a hat.
I'm sure there's a hat somewhere at the boarding house.
I hope you know a good hat guy.
Yeah, it's like a lost and found at the boarding house. So it's been there for decades. It's
I love it. Oh, and you guys are walking a little further. He's like, "All right, this is me." And he kind of like points down towards like the sea ward.
Brendel does the awkward like handshake, half hug, like you're my new pal.
It's like a foot and a half shorter than you. He's like, yeah. He brings it like, to your chest, like, kind of does. I was about to do the same thing with Lavinia, like reassesses the logistics and is like, does like a side hug.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys are all right. I like hanging out with you.
Hi, CW.
Yeah. I'll see y'all later.
That guy's a lot of fun. That guy's cool.
I'm sure he and B are absolute terrors together.
That's a good point. That's fun. That might be the nicest meal that I have ever had. That was great, and I am so full. Riv had some cool friends.
Yes, they do.
Hey, Lavinia, make a perception check.
Oh no. Oh no. So, to counteract my negative or my natural 20 earlier, that is a natural 1, so 4.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Oh no, I'm sorry, it's a 2. I looked at the wrong skill. It's worse. It's a 2.
Oh,
It's worse.
that is very, very bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Walking on
it.
home.
You don't see it.
Just like,
Brindle, you're also welcome to make a perception check. Yeah, you can do that.
Sure. I've been drinking a bit. Do you want me to add or subtract anything to that? Probably subtract. Oh, I rolled a 3.
That's on brand.
We're fine. And this is where the 2 little half elves die.
Wait, this was perception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically a 5.
Something occurs and you don't see it.
No.
And I will tell you what that is in a minute. Riv, as you are walking Astaire and Esvele back home, what's that look like?
I think that Riv does like interlace their arm with the stairs as the two of them walk, but is being mindful of how much it looks like Astaire wants any physical contact.
Oh yeah, you link arms and she leans into you. It's like I said, this is like just a little bit of a chill, right? And it's just enough to justify like, oh, I could use a jacket or like, some warm personal contact. As Bella just rolls her eyes.
I feel like Riv does look at her and just offers their other arm and says, "Would you care to join?"
I'm good over here.
I thought you might say that.
Yeah. But, this is a nicer night than I expected.
What did you expect?
She looks over at Astaire and just goes, well, all that matters is my sister had a good night. That's important.
What would have made you worry that she would have otherwise?
Have you seen the critics in this town? They can be ruthless. Badu is not exactly known for its compassion to people it doesn't like. But standing ovation, huge success. I'm proud of her.
I asked that because I know you're right. I know how the critics can be. I know that full well. Yet I could not imagine anyone finding any fault in Astaire's performance.
Oh, I love you two so much right now. Astaire says, a little drunkenly. I think everyone's a little tipsy from all the wine. Says, and Astaire says, I'm so excited for this play. I really am. And that stage magic, the fact that Roberto didn't just like kick down the curtain and start yelling. It just shows how brilliant it was. He hates improvisation, and yet like it must have blown him away.
Yes, I'm sure that is going to become a part of the performance every night. It would have to be.
I love it. Well, just make sure you don't drop me.
I would never.
Hmm.
I would never let you fall a stair.
And the two of you have this like kind of nice moment, arms linked together. Della is like, "We're here."
And Riv somewhat reluctantly steps back a bit and says, well, this was certainly a nicer way to get to see where you live.
Yeah, I like this a lot better.
I do too. And I truly am sorry for that. As your sister pointed out, these streets are dangerous. And I did not want any harm to befall you.
Thank you. Are you going to be okay getting home? Do you need a coach or?
No, I'll be fine, but thank you for that, Stare.
Okay. Well, she like looks over at her sister, who's just like awkwardly standing there, like staring at the two of you. She's like, I guess we better call it a night.
And I think in light of the fact that her sister is there and staring daggers at Riv, Riv chooses to lean in and just press a kiss to Astare's cheek and says, thank you for the lovely and magical evening.
You start to lean in, she meets you halfway. There's like a cute little kiss, and then her sister's like, all right, well, good night, Riv. Just like opens the door to go inside.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Mm-hmm. I forgot. I did not actually describe how Sveli dresses. So like Astaire has like a very I'll go with like a what do you want to call it? Like a breezy pastel vibe, right? Um, her sister has not quite like emo goth vibes, but like just definitely wears like just darker colors, accented by like purples, blues, and blacks.
Why
With the
would you do
occasional,
this to me, Andy? Like, why? Why?
we're here. Um, be great for just like telling your parents, man, I hate you, or like I don't know, disappearing into the night and hiding to stab people in alleys.
Casual.
Casual. Yeah, it's an outfit for everyday use. As the two of them proceed inside, and Rib, you're just kind of left by yourself.
Riv is going to walk back to the boarding house.
Okay. As we zoom out, and people are like one by one going home from a very magical evening. We see Lavinia and Brindle, as they parted ways with CW, kind of like laughing and joking about like, oh man, it was the most expensive meal I ever had. It was so much fun. And Lavinia being like, yeah, but there's a lot of shit going on, and Brindle being like, this is nice, we had a nice night. It's like, but there's so many things I have to connect in my notebook. As the two of you just continue to walk, there is a movement in one of the side alleys. As you see, looks like someone who just lurking and waiting for just, well, a inattentive passerby or two. And you see just the gleam of steel as a short sword is kind of pulled from under a cloak. And a moment where they take a breath and start towards Brindle and Lavinia. And they take a step out of the alleyway, and an arrow lands dead center in their chest. They wobble for a second and fall.
Do we notice the arrow part, or do we not notice shit about shit?
A 1 and a 3? You're having a great night. As this...
2 and a 5. It's a 2 and a 5.
That was a net 1, baby.
It was a skill check. It was a skill check. It wasn't combat.
I guess you don't want to crit on skill checks then. No. But no, to the two of your, like, to you two, like, you're having a nice night, you're having a conversation. And then suddenly this just arrow into this person falls back into the alleyway and into the darkness.
And we just keep right on going. I assume, right? Yeah, so
yeah, just continue to bop along. I'm just like...
So I did not mention, but it's an important framing note before we go on break. The arrow did come from the rooftop across the street into this person.
How close are we to the boarding house at this point?
You're about a 15-minute walk still.
So they don't just happen to be there near the boarding house. This person is keeping an eye on us. Interesting. Or we just happen to be in that kind of neighborhood.
Who knows? But you get home unscathed, and everyone kind of filters in one by one, or two by one, and unwinds from a magical evening at the theater where everything went perfectly fine.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
The theater went fine.
It was great.
It was the after that.
I think B was actually going to go to CW's, not back to the boarding house.
Okay, cool. Go down back to the I think CW is staying on the boat right now, so yeah. Go hang out at the boat.
That's fine.
Little midnight smooching or whatever.
If the boats are rocking.
The heavy seas are
surely it is merely the tide.
I love it. And with that, we'll take a quick break and come back to you the next morning.
Yeah.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It had young Idris Elba in it. It's got Philip Quast. It's got what is that guy's name? It's
sorry, JD, I just saw your comment in the chat.
It was a crime against me. Also, just so everyone knows, Ultraviolet is available on Tubi.
It's also on YouTube. Somebody's got a playlist. It's just got all 6 episodes on there.
Hell yeah.
It's just, it's a good time. It's about global warming and vampires. What more could you want?
Listen,
what more could I want?
Two great tastes that go great together.
Jack Davenport.
That's good.
That's the guy who I couldn't remember.
I'm just saying, as global warming increases and bloodborne infections become more common, I imagine vampires would get more desperate.
These vampires have a pretty desperate plan for the end of the season. It was a pretty drastic take.
Speaking of plans, so there's
highly recommend. Everyone should watch it. Idris Elba is there. His character is kind of an asshole, but he's playing a paramilitary security leader. So what else would you expect?
Is this it? Hold on. You said, speaking of plans, there's a thing I wanted to give you all. I realize I may not be able to display. Oh well, shoot. It's okay. I'll still get it to you. Oh, I'll get it to you. But yeah, well, we're back. You all come back from a lovely night at the theater. As everyone's kind of getting ready to turn in, I do want to give Riv a chance to kind of eventually catch up with Brindle and Lavinia. They definitely make it home first. B does not come home. All I could think of after you said that, as soon as we get off stream, was like the Buffy quote from the mayor of like the ship rocking. It's like, I don't want to have a loose cannon rocking the boat. Is that a mixed metaphor? Boats did have cannons, and a loose one would rock them. Yeah, all right. So, but does Rip want to share anything that happened throughout the evening as you all kind of like wind down, or do you just all go to bed? Just kind of give you the window.
I think as much as they don't want to, they probably would go to talk to Lavinia.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's like some evening tea happening in like the kitchen slash plush living room area. People are kind of just relaxing.
Lavinia's like, you gotta have more liquids that aren't wine, Brindle. You've never had a wine hangover before. That's different. Shit's different.
I have, but you're right. You're right. I will. Maybe I want some tea or water.
Shit's different.
Brindle's a party animal. If you're like trying to get Brindle to hydrate, Riv, you come walking in.
And I think for like the initial first few moments, Riv is just doing their nightly routine, but at some point steps over to Lavinia and just says, "When you have a moment, could we talk?"
Sure, we can talk now. He's fine.
Lavinia, did you see anything strange during the show tonight?
I saw something. I thought I saw something in one of the boxes. A light, a brief light from the Castle Enters box.
So someone tried to sabotage the show.
How badly of a sabotage?
Very. It could have seriously hurt, if not killed, Astaire.
You think they'd try again?
That's what I'm worried about. I don't know if it was to disrupt or close the show. I don't know if it was meant for Astaire specifically. I don't know, but someone desperate enough to do that might very well try again, right? You know more about this than I do.
It depends. If what they wanted to do was to make a big enough statement and they didn't succeed on the opening night, potentially they wouldn't try again because the impact would be less. I hate to say sensational, but if it's specifically against her, then yes, they will probably try again. What did they do?
There was a creature trying to cause one of the lights to fall. And it was very determined.
That's intent. Yes. Do you know if the theater's ever been warded?
Would that be something Rip would know?
Roll history.
That's 7.
You're not sure. You know there are people that you could ask that would probably know. There's no shortage of like theater historians that just love the built architecture of the Eclipse Theater. Uh, Outside of like that professional group, B might know. It's worded magical architecture. There's probably documentation somewhere.
I mean, I don't know anything about that, Lavinia. We could maybe ask the. I mean, what impact would that have on things? Because it clearly wasn't enough to stop what almost happened tonight.
Well, if it was warded or it hasn't been warded, it could be warded again to keep those kinds of things out. And the only other thing I think you can do at that point is you're going to have to tell someone internally that you saw something. I'm sure you don't want to scare her, but you probably need to tell her because, again, if this isn't about the theater and the show, and it's about her, well, when the show ends, she'll be out there.
A loud crunching noise. Someone's taking like just a massive oversized bite of an apple, and you hear from like under the coffee table, like, what kind of creature was it?
Andy, remind me, what type of creature was it?
It was a weird looking tiny creature with like leathery skin, wings, and like a little scorpion tail.
I had to ask because as that scene went on, I was so intent on making sure Astaire didn't die that like what it actually was completely left my mind immediately.
Valid.
And so I think Rib like automatically responds and then just stops and is like, wait, who am I talking to right now?
Lavinia just like sticks her arms under there and just drags Oddvar out.
The creature is
Have you just been here all day?
not all day. I need more apples, but yes. The creature you're describing sounds like, well, sounds like devilish imp. They cause mischief and a little bit of chaos where they go. Not necessarily dangerous, but definitely something that laughs in the face of justice. I hate them.
And you hate them because they laugh in the face of justice.
And they hurt people.
That's a valid reason, yes. So you're saying that it probably wouldn't have been focused on a stair, that it was probably there to cause problems and didn't care if it hurt people in the process.
Oh. Imps do what they're told. So, whoever told it to do what it did, they're the ones who would know. Let's find this imp and destroy it.
Tomorrow I will take you back to the theater in the daytime so that you can run amok.
Excellent.
Not too much of a muck, please. We still need the show to be able to go up. And if a prop is out of place, you know what? I'll come along and supervise.
I can restrain my mucking.
Good.
This is good, Lavinia. You and I on a quest to implement justice in this city.
She pats his head. It's like, yes, yes.
Yes, good.
Although, Riv, that does bring up the point. You have the show again tomorrow night, don't you?
Of course, we do, yes.
The gala's tomorrow.
That is a factual statement, and I cannot be in two places at once. I suppose if the rest of you decide to go to the gala, you may have to go without me.
Good thing to remember, the gala does end at midnight. Show ends at 10. You'd be late, but yeah, it's fashionable.
So perhaps maybe I can join you in the midst of whatever happens there. Does that mean that you're interested in seeing what happens at the gala, Lavinia?
Of course I am. Even if nothing actually happens. Something will happen. If that makes sense. Whether it's whatever's going. Even if this person who Brindle found their stuff, even if they don't manage to recoup their tools and show up and cause problems, something will happen. It's too big of an event for something to go smoothly. As evidenced by the fact that your play was almost sabotaged, nothing goes smoothly in this city.
You raise a good point. I'm sure everyone there will be safer with you there in attendance.
Yeah.
Good night, Riff.
It
Good
sucks
night,
to be a protagonist.
I'm just like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you all head off to bed. Everybody dies in their sleep. Get a long rest. That may
Why would
come
you
back
need
to
to say
matter.
that? Why
No,
would you need to say that?
because it's relevant. Because it could happen. You don't. This city's bad. There's a lot of bad shit here.
which demon is gonna come and stand on my chest until I suffocate? Which one?
At this level, there's a very limited amount of options. But as you level up, I got a lot of good avenues.
Not the demons.
You all wake up the next day, except for B, to the smell of.
I don't wake up, or
No, you don't wake up to the smell of a delicious kitchen breakfast.
That's fair.
You wake up to the smell of like CW just like cracking basically like a morning stout beer, and just walking out in like a pair of basically just Under Armour like boxers. It's like breakfast.
Hell yeah.
There's a moment where he just says, I did have a really good time with your friends last night. They need to come around more often. They're good people.
They really do. They're good. They're good friends. Uh thanks for kind of taking that and walking with them. I wanted to talk to Rainier. The the stuff with Riv was just too. I didn't want to. I felt like I had to like run interference there.
No, I get it. I get it. It's all good. I'm glad you came over. I'm glad you took care of your friend.
I'm Yeah. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was. Are we theater people now?
I was just thinking that. Are we theater people? Are we going to go to the theater more? I don't think we can get such nice seats every time, but I feel like maybe we should go to the theater more.
I mean, if we win one of the races,
If
you
we
know,
win one of the races,
there's a gold prize. We can go to theater more.
you know, you know, we would have to practice a lot more. We would have to get Jack out here to practice a lot more.
Well, Jack's more interested in the drinking aspect of sailing, but nevertheless,
We are a drinking team with a sailing problem. It's true.
yeah, that's a good way to. Yeah, that'd make a good T-shirt.
Right?
Yeah, I think I might make this up for Fleet's Wake.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, kind of get like a team spirit going on,
Yeah, Misha's Lament uniform.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right. Well, I'm sorry I don't have like more stuff around for breakfast, but yeah, this was nice.
It was nice. Look,
Yeah.
I've got to go to work, and sort of go on about the day, and yeah, we'll see you later.
Gives you a little kiss.
Mhm.
So, you want to take a beer for the walk?
No, I don't have the same kind of metabolism, unfortunately,
Of course.
but appreciate it.
Two of you part ways, and I assume you're gonna head back to the boarding house, get set up, and then go out to work.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely still wearing like the evening gown she was
Yeah.
wearing the night before.
Hell yeah, it was a good gown.
Show up to teach your TA class, and everyone's just like,
What? I can be fancy. Wizards
What?
can be fancy.
Teachers have lives too.
I'm an adult.
I am 90 years old.
I'm a super adult. But yeah, the three of you wake up to the smell of just like this freshly cooked breakfast. And you hear some like clinking and clattering, and actually some soft conversation coming from downstairs.
This is concerning because I usually cook breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm suspicious. I don't know if they are, but I am. I'm gonna
I mean,
go.
Brindle's excited to hear things bustling down there. He might smell more things than just the usual eggs and coffee. Is there bacon? Do I smell bacon? What do I smell?
All
Andy,
sorts
what
of
do I
good,
smell?
all sorts of good stuff. So
Yeah.
Brindle hops downstairs for sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
Riv makes their way downstairs to see what is happening.
You hear Madame Ethelwhite just kind of laughing, and as you kind of turn the corner into the kitchen, you see sitting at the little island counter, with like just plates of food that have been kind of made. Riv, you recognize him. The other two may not. It's Sergio, and he says, "Ah, good morning. I, wanted to. I brought some breakfast."
Hey, all right. Also, Brindle notices that Madame Ethelwhite is in a good mood, and he's very happy to see that after recent events that happened to her. Madam, you're looking so good this morning. Awesome. He's pouring himself some coffee and smelling the breakfast and eyeing it up.
Yeah, it's nice. Sergio just tried to drop by, and it's always nice to see an old friend. And Sergio
Oh,
says,
you were old friends.
Vivi and I go way back. Yes.
Hey, Sergio, nice to meet you. Hey.
Morning.
Morning.
Please help yourself.
Thank
Brindle
you.
already was. So.
This is so generous.
Well, I figure it's always best to conduct business on a full stomach. Yes.
Oh, are you
Indeed.
two doing business? We don't need to intrude on that.
Oh no, we're just catching up. Assume Riv told you I had a job offer for the four of you. Like looks around real quick, doesn't see B.
Yes, we're missing one. I'm sure she'll be here soon.
B comes walking in, again, still wearing the clothes from the last night. Walks in. Hey, I'm gonna go change real quick.
Oh.
I got work. Oh, hi, hello.
We
Good
have a
morning.
guest.
That is a lovely gown.
Thank you. It's my favorite. And you are?
Sergio.
Pleased to meet you, Sergio. Professor
Likewise.
Bombler. I'm gonna go put on some new clothes.
Of course.
And B's gonna go change, come back down.
Yeah. It's so you're having like this food out. Sergio and Madame Ethelwhite are just kind of talking and laughing, and like there's a couple like funny stories of like, oh, do you remember when this happened? That was I thought I was going to die laughing that night. And he's like, oh, it was a phenomenal night. You know, you don't see as many of those days as we used to. It's unfortunate. B changes and comes back down.
Yeah.
So,
Drink coffee and read the newspaper and try not to eavesdrop.
The newspaper
Sergio,
is the one I sent to you, by the way, with like all the new crazy shit. I have a question, since you said this specifically, and I know Brindle, you have a question for Sergio, but Lavinia, what's your reaction to the Emerald Enclave coming into town?
She reads it.
Front page news.
Sure is. She reads it once, kind of glosses over it, reads it again, and says, kind of to herself, she's like, well, I guess I will not be doing that. Just makes a note to herself. She is not going to sail at Fleet Sweet because she's not going to that event and get over her dead body.
I
And she
like
kind of
that.
just folds up the newspaper, just tosses it back on the counter.
I'm sorry, Bindle, what were you saying?
Oh, yeah, no, just about we heard that you had some work. And I was curious about what kind of work. I'm always
Yes.
interested in making a little bit more money, you know.
Of course. B, did you have a chance to get some food and get settled?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I think B is sort of like leaning over, like a little bit like leaning over, like lifting his shoulder, sort of reading the newspaper, sipping a cup of tea. And it's like, oh yeah, no, yeah, settled. Settled. What's going on?
Um, Madam Ethelway goes to excuse herself, and Sergio says, "No, you can say this. This is nothing I would want to keep from you." Ah, as I spoke with Viv yesterday, and that I wanted to meet you all, and well, I figured this was a nice way to do it. As you may know, there's a event happening tonight at the National History Museum.
It's come up a few times, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's drawn a lot of attention.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to say something possibly shocking, and I'm going to follow up with some context. And after that, I'll ask you if you would be interested in helping or not. And if the answer is no, so be it. I'll be on my way. I must warn you, however, the context that I'm going to give you could be dangerous if told to the wrong people. So if you simply choose not to be involved, I ask that you just keep your silence. I would like the help of the four of you to rob the National History Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Colonel
What?
immediately looks over at Lavinia and then back at Sergio.
That's a wild statement to make.
Hmm. Yes.
And so you've got my attention.
I admire your boldness.
Now, to be clear, we're not stealing anything that belongs to the people. Now, that would be a tragedy. We are going to steal something that does not belong and should, in fact, be in safer hands. Now, Lavinia, I know that you're with the watch, and I understand you have incredible preservation, but here's the context. And this is very important. In approximately 1 week's time, say by the end of Fleet's Wake, it will come to light that the city of Waterdeep has no money.
Okay.
What do you mean, no money?
Building a new bank, aren't they? Or they're renovating the bank.
Oh, the
No,
Castellanters are building a bank.
the Castellanters, yes, they have lots of money. The city is broke. This was only recently discovered by those in power, and the ripples are about to become very violent.
Interesting. Okay, so that explains some things, like why the council is why there's people out there acting like they're on a war footing if we're about to default on some of our debts to, say, uh the oh god, what was it? I forgot what it was. The Emerald
Emerante,
Enclave,
the Lord's
or
Alliance, Neverwinter, Calimport, many of the small towns and hamlets across the Sword Coast.
I don't think we're really worried about the small towns and hamlets.
Well, no, not from a revolt, but from a, well, the economic standard.
If the government can't buy food,
Well,
if the city can't,
if
the
the city
city's
can't pay the
bankrupt,
watch, the city can't keep the peace. If the people can't get to work safely, then they won't want to keep the peace.
Be
Law
understands.
abiding citizens will leave, and the city will eventually become run entirely by organized crime. Sounds bad. So, what do we do?
Well, it's come to my attention to some of my research that the gem they are revealing tonight, the museum, is known as the Stone of Galore. And it has strange properties. Dangerous properties, but can also show people things that otherwise would be hidden. Over the course of Lord Dagal Neverember's tenure as the Open Lord, he slowly emptied the treasury. And I believe that money is still hidden somewhere in the city. That gem is the key to finding it. Yeah. Dangerous part, like I said. There are those who would kill for that amount of money. I'd like to see it returned to the city.
How does this stone work? Like, how would you end up using it?
The properties are strange and requires additional examination, but from our initial research, the stone and 3 additional components, they're referred to as eyes or orbs. Combining all of them renders the magical effects you would need to see things that would normally not be seen.
Not to be too mercenary about this, but can't help but ask, what's in this for us? Why wouldn't we just take our loved ones and leave?
Oh,
also can't help but ask, why are you telling us and not
Competent people?
Lady Silverhand?
Hmm.
People who have the authority to maybe borrow the gem?
It's quite simple. Viv and I spoke about this at length the other day. and I can answer both these questions. In this city, there are many factions, many guilds, many people out for their own personal interest, and those who tend to rise above the curve are quickly either hammered back down or, well, bought in some way. I'll ask you this question honestly, Lavinia, and please be truthful. Do you feel if I went to the Watch with this information that it would be safe, it would be taken care of? Do you feel that you can trust the Watch and the Guard? Not individuals,
There
the
is
entity itself.
no entity. There is also no person who I trust implicitly.
Wise. I made that mistake once. I learned. Now, not to forgive me, but as I'm being honest, Vivian has helped me find people who I think would be, well, of the right state of mind and also under the radar, if you will, under the watchful eyes of people in the city. And B, to answer your question, why nobody's are bought and nobody's are watched. It does not mean I don't respect your skills and talents. No, it's quite the opposite.
Though you have been watching us, so how certain are you that no one else has given us the same attention?
I'm the first person that is, well, decided to come to light and speak with you face to face. There are others who have noticed. They don't quite understand the impact and connections you have, but your actions have certainly, well, not gone entirely unnoticed.
Well, I hate that.
Yeah.
Who just, for our own sake and safety, who else has been noticing?
Yeah. It's hard to keep their presence under wraps when you have such famous and well-known friends. Sometimes you end
Lavinia
up
flips flips over to the cafe story and kind of slides that to Riv.
Mm-hmm. And Cedric says, well, sometimes you end up in the newspaper. Sometimes the press sees you when you're talking to famous writers. And then,
that's a university assignment.
of course. And I'm sure everything the Blackstaff Tower is doing is above board.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. It's levitating about 7 feet above the board and rotating, spinning wildly, turning colors. It's crazy. All above board. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's above board.
It's up there.
It's up there.
Now, of course, there are risks. Of course, there's danger, but I want to be very clear. I meant what I said to Riv yesterday. You're willing to help recover this lost money and get it back to where it belongs before the city implodes itself. I feel that 1 million dragons each is a fair compensation for the risk.
Pardon me. Sorry. Did you say 1 million?
Yes.
Did I forget to mention that?
That's not a real amount of money.
And also, not to go back to the mercenary comment before, but if you have that kind of a money and you care that much about the city, why aren't you giving it to the city? Or is this one of those
Oh.
situations where we're doing the job to pay ourselves? Are you implying we're taking that money from the treasury? That's the real risk.
I've paid a lot of taxes. I have not paid $1 billion of taxes.
We will return to the treasury of Waterdeep 195 million gold dragons. They will not be sad if 5 are missing. They'll be ecstatic that they have the rest of it. If you choose not to take your share, that is fine. But I caution you that that is a reward for the risk. You already see, Lavinia. You already see the dangers that are happening across the city. You have to ask yourself, why would Zentarum, a relatively stable network that makes its money, well, quietly, but illegally, why would they suddenly start conducting open warfare in the streets? Bad for business. Unless there's more to gain. Maybe the short-term risk to profit is, well, a fair loss considering the gains they could make. Now, you don't have to say yes to this. Of course, I don't wish to force you into anything. And if you have more questions, please ask them. I'll be as honest and forthright as I can.
You're saying for the greater good of the city, we'll be returning money that's been stolen over the last 10 years by the...
We're stealing an item that allows them to see where the money is so that they can retrieve the money. Or are we responsible for using the item and retrieving the money as well?
I feel like that's a cart before the horse question.
Oh, no, there's... This is the first of many steps.
Are we meant to be a part of all of the steps?
I'd like you to be.
Okay.
If Vivian believes you can be trusted, I trust you.
I have
Until there's any reason why my trust is misplaced. But
how much
definitely sees Madame Ethelweight in a new light currently.
Anybody who wants to can actually make a history check. This is just a thought that probably hadn't ever crossed your mind, but given the context, actually might.
Nat 1.
I would love to.
Dang it.
What is my history?
Ooh.
My history is...
Sorry, 1 second.
History.
Actually, Lavinia, you would get advantage on this.
Oh.
Because of some context you have from your father, actually. 17. 17?
Actually, I got a 19 on that.
19. Cool. Brindle, you'd probably know this from your, I don't know, less than legal connections. Lavinia, you've probably heard this from your father or some of the other like watch officers at some point. It's really common during the Silver Marshes, but it never really stopped. And that is that brothels were a phenomenal way to gain information from people. And frequently, madams at brothels would actually become recruited by the city to feed information to like the city spy masters and like other people to make decisions about things. Because the information they would get from Pillow Talk was sometimes very valuable.
Got it.
And so with that connection of like, son of a bit, kind of clicks.
All right. Yeah. So yes, yeah. Brendel does see her in a new light for sure, and puts two and two together because his Zentarum probably also used some of those same techniques for sure, right?
Yeah, they're more into the blackmail aspect of it, but absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
That's one of those, like, you can do that under the table and nobody makes a lot of noise about it, but you can blackmail very important people. So, I'm sorry, what were you going to say, B?
How much information can you give me on the layout and defenses and all that kind of stuff about this thing? Are we going to be expected to case the joint ourselves in the next like 12 hours? Or is there any like setup that you can help us out with? Because you haven't given us a whole lot of time.
Oh, I have a map. It was
Start.
to our great fortune that one of the employees there was recently dismissed. And she was very happy to draw us a layout.
So
Okay.
does that mean they have an opening and their staff?
Perhaps, yes. They may be short-staffed.
Working that grind.
Yeah. I love that Brindle's like, I'm going to heist this, but also gig economy.
It was more about blending in, but if he gets paid, I mean, that's great.
He says, no, I have resources prepared. I have items I think that will be of great assistance. I have some maps that will help you familiarize yourself with the layout. And I will be there. I admit I will not dress in my finest black tie attire and simply walk in the front door, but I will be there.
So also maybe someone else. The man who jumped Madame Ethelwhite may or may not also be there.
Who? Who do we know who that was?
We didn't find him.
What do they look like?
Long black hair.
Brindle was going to hold that back, but we're talking about it now, so we might as well tell Sergio. Yeah, and gives him a description of this guy that Brindle saw fleeing a warehouse. Yes, and last appeared here and trashed his room and what threw Madame Ethelweight around a bit, right? So
Just kind of like,
yeah, and he kind of describes how the man looks to Sergio and gives him that brief rundown.
yeah, I think he would take more caution, but his name is Dalekar, and he's a valet for Lord Neverember.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, yeah, speaking of, do you think Rainier knows that his dad robbed the entire city over the course of 10 years?
No.
Yeah, I'll bet he doesn't. He's a good boy.
This is a lot to take in, but I really like that number that you threw out there. That's a nice number. And it sounds like it would be doing good for the city. And
it will save the city from certain chaos. Now, the other dangerous thing is not just that this money could never be found, but could be found by a dangerous party. I said.
Why was Lord Neverember stockpiling it?
I don't know.
Why do rich people do the things they do to stay in power, right?
Probably to stay in power anyway, right?
He didn't disappear. But that's the thing. It's like either you disappear and keep the money, or you don't disappear. And eventually people are going to question where the money went.
Remind me what happened with Rainier's mother.
How much was Riv told about that?
The thing that Rainier told you was that his mother had passed away a few years back.
But
Okay, just a few years ago.
I was gonna say, could we make a history roll on that if she was?
Yeah, absolutely.
If that occurred during his time as Open Lord, is that the kind of thing that, like, when your first lady dies, usually something happens.
That would have been published in the newspaper. It would have been a thing. They would have been a memorial.
It's a 6
cases. It's a 15. Wait.
Okay.
No. Hold on. Yes, 15.
Oh, is B the only one rolling? Okay. Yeah, she passed away in 1487, so 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay, so Lord Neverember was not in power.
He was.
He was in power.
Mm-hmm. He's been the Open Lord for almost the past 25 years.
How long has when did
And to be fair, like, the public reception of Neverember is mostly positive.
When did the siphoning of funds start, to the best of your knowledge?
10 years ago, did you say?
Yeah,
about 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago. If I will share something, and again, in the nature of trust. This was discovered about 3 years ago. Simply, the wrong people were informed.
Who discovered it those 3 years ago?
A friend of mine.
Is that how you know all of this? Did you know 3 years ago?
Yes.
And you're only choosing to make your move now?
The gem is only arriving here now.
Yes. Without the gem, we couldn't do anything to impact it. Neither could Neverember.
That's why they were going after Rainier. That's why they were going after his necklace.
Searcher just gives you a look of, like, shock, and then you can see him, like, doing some very quick math in his head, and he goes, "Huh."
Are you going to elaborate on that?
You get a couple people who know that there's some gemstone associated with Neverember that can perform this magic spell, and of course, you're going to make a beeline for that necklace his kid's always wearing.
Of course, although the gemstone would not fit in a traditional necklace. It's too large. It's the size of, maybe large cantaloupe. But
no, but I think what B means is that it's an heirloom that's always worn. It's always close, and somebody could make that assumption that it does more or means more than.
Or they know something that we don't, and there's something involved in that necklace.
What are those 3 things that you'd need to activate the stone?
the eyes.
The eyes.
Mm-hmm.
What are they?
It's written that without the eyes, the stone of Galore is blind. They are much smaller. Could actually be concealed. A necklace or amulet, about the size of large marbles.
Yep.
Could be that Rainier has one and does not even know it.
Okay.
I like this. Oh God, my conspiracy board is making so much more sense now. Okay. Yes. So in case it's not obvious, I'm in. Um uh and I'm gonna need some if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna need some assistance getting at some somatic components, some material components.
Of course, what do you need?
I'll get you a list.
Uh,
Actually they have she has a list, like
Yoink.
because she was gonna go to the quartermaster today.
I mean, you can still go to the quartermaster. Listen, both people that can get you components, hot.
Yeah.
It just depends on what kind of hot you're into.
Right.
so
I
who?
think yes.
What was that guy's name? The one that's working for Neverember.
Delacar.
Okay.
Della. All right.
He's a
So
troublesome individual.
Yeah, I don't like him. He beat up my landlady.
Yeah, he's a jerk. But Delacar is going after this gem, and we're going after this gem. Who else is going to be going after this gem?
That is why I said that any knowledge of this it's important that it is kept very quiet. To the extent that people know, I do not have a comprehensive list. I believe there are people in the Zentarum that know, which is the reason for the violence. I believe there are other factions that know and have started their own means of, well, playing the game, if you will.
The Black Staff Tower definitely knows.
I think I might have to go visit my grandmother today.
Such a strange segue. Just, you worried about your grandmother?
Yeah.
What is did the newspaper that talked about the bank that the Castellanters are building, did they talk about when they broke ground on that? Let me see if I can find it.
In the last year.
In the last year.
I'll bet the Castellanters know too.
It's quite possible. They've been
Didn't you say they're building a new bank?
Yeah, they're building a new bank, and they're
they've
building
been
it
more active recently.
Yeah, and there was something else in it. Where was it? More coins.
Rico just has a moment where he steps back and it's just, wow, this is cool. There's so much going on. Like we're reading stuff in the news about something that that affects something we're gonna go do, and like all these big things are happening. This is awesome. I really like this city.
Now, please, if you have any questions for me.
I have a concern.
Of course.
Show's still running. If I'm joining the gala, it's going to be late.
Well, look at you as potential reinforcements. The off chance that something does go awry, not everyone is in the building at the same time.
Do I have like an understudy or something?
That is not how this works, and in light of certain factors, I need to be at the theater tonight.
Yeah.
Sergio tosses you a key.
Key?
Yeah.
Cool.
Tosses you a key, and it's the actual wing key that was in the Discord. It's been a minute, but I will. Post it again. General chat.
Ooh.
Not very big, but it is very ornate.
Oh.
And it says, well, if you're in, shows you a key.
What's this open?
That key is, well, it's going to be key for how we take care of a few things. It doesn't open anything physically, but it'll provide you with many opportunities, and I will discuss what those look like.
Neat. Minor illusions it into a rock, puts it in her pocket.
Okay, that's okay.
I think Haymaker's in too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good. I think that your professional contacts will be very useful as we move forward, and like tosses you a key.
Thank you. I'm sure the folks over at the Grocers Guild will certainly be useful contacts in some fashion.
Oh.
I'm not about to let the city descend into any more violence than it already is. And that money could go a long way to helping people who need it. So I'm in.
Tosses Riv a key. Vinny, I'm sure you have more questions. And again, I'm happy to answer them.
Just give me the key.
Oh. Okay, and he hands the key to you.
She does not make eye contact with Brindle. I can see it in my peripheral vision. I'm not going to look at you. I'm not encouraging this behavior.
I wonder what your patron's doing right about now.
Napping.
My patron and I
was
gonna say, my patron and I have had a discussion about law versus justice. They're not the same thing.
Mm-hmm. This is very true. I think Advar, if asked, would be like, well, I mean, obviously somebody did a bad thing, and we're going to help correct a bad thing by doing something bad, but that ultimately does something good, right? So, well, yeah.
Advar's got the abacus, and he's like, if we do this, and then we do this, it balances.
As long as we only kill 14 people, the balance is good. Sorry, that was not Advar. That was Bonbon.
Wrong elephant-like creature.
Wrong elephant creature. You get them confused sometimes. So with that, it just says, okay, I have maps, I have equipment. And
we might have a disguise potion or two.
Oh, good. You're ahead of the curve. Now,
And tickets to the gala.
see that you're already set up quite well for the situation.
I think we were inadvertently helped by Delicar. I think he may have lost some items.
Oh, he will not appreciate that.
You ticked Madame Applewhite.
Ugh, what a jerk. Well, let's plan a heist. Wow.
Theme music plays.
Hell yeah. Theme music. All right. Very cool. And we'll end there. I do have maps for you all. And schematics and shit. So like I was not kidding when I said I have them.
Heck yeah.
For whatever
Let's go.
reason, Owlbear is being a jerk to me, so I cannot display them, but I will put them in the Discord so you can see all the stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. But
nice.
yeah, we did it. All right.
Yay.
Do some outros. That was an interesting little. It's interesting how it all came together.
Mm-hmm.
I also love just B's just like barely restrained glee.
B is insanely hype for
B
this.
feels very vindicated.
B feels extremely vindicated.
Does that add some clarity to the pin board?
Yeah, oh no, the pin board is suddenly extremely clear. All of those interlocking red strands suddenly it all connects. Man, just gotta follow the money, man.
No, real talk. 200 million gold dragons, $20 billion.
$1 billion. And a million for each of us if we pull it off and don't die.
$200 million per person if you survive. That's not even real money. Yeah.
It's not real money.
But no, there's a lot of cool stuff. So I'll tell you more about it like in detail later, but like as this goes on, there's a list of like stuff that Sergio can get to help you all, including shitloads of information.
Lavinia's gonna ask more questions later. Right now, she's just like,
all right. I mean, I was like, look, cards on the table. Like, if there are like 3 things, he'll tell you like 95% of the things that are going on.
I got questions, but we also gotta stop.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I have a hard.
Yep. Same, because oh man, he's got to find out how this conflicts with his family's plans and what's going on. He's got to go see his grandmother and see what's going on there, and needs to talk to Sergio about that without maybe letting everybody else know. So, woo. Yep.
Brindle's got to get all of his other gigs in line.
Well, really, it's just the family. It's the family stuff because of his loyalty. That's it. That's the only real conflict here. But yeah.
Wouldn't it be crazy if they all just kind of like merged
into one super conflict that?
Yep. Where it was real bad. Yep.
That'd be crazy.
Anyway, blood in the streets.
Yeah. Oh my god. Who can imagine that?
The Zentarum would go on a war footing with the city on a war footing.
The same week that the Emerald Enclave is here. This is such great timing.
Fleetswig.
And Fleetswig.
Craziness.
Everybody's here.
All right, Julia, take us out.
Hello. I am Julia. You can find me at Hexbot on all social media. I've been Lavinia Hale. Sunday, I will be we are playing the Sunday. Sunday, I will be back as Lyra Kroll in Class Reunion. If you haven't been listening to the short series right now, Fallen Stars on Spotify, you really should, because all of the man-made horrors with which we inflicted upon Will are now out for everyone to hear. You like spiders? Should listen to it.
Who doesn't? All right. JD.
Hey, I am JD. You can also find me on Sunday for Academy H, where I will be playing Casimir Bright, aka Spectral. I do way too many other things, so I'm not going to bother listing them. But if you hit me up on socials, JD not Jason Dean everywhere, you can generally find out where I'm going to be on any given evening.
Heck yeah. Della.
Hi, I'm Della. I've been B. You can find me back here every Thursday, either being B or being the collection of ghosts on Redacted. You can also find me. I'll be guest spotting still this coming Sunday on Academy H as the pale flowers that blossom on battlefields. Siblid warrior and hero known as Emissary. And on the 25th of March, we will be coming back with Thy Kingdom Come. And I will be GMing that, and it's gonna be weird, guys.
Looking forward to that. All right, Bedlam.
Hello, I'm Bedlam. I have Ben, Brindle Fallow, and yeah, we're heisting. We're gonna do some heisting. I'm very excited about this. Brindle's extremely excited about this. Once he resolves all his convoluted family matters, which I'm sure is going to be easy. So you're not going to find me really anywhere on social media, but you can find me here every other Thursday and starting up again, as Della mentioned, on March 25th, as Jerome Nears, coming back with a vengeance, well, not really with a vengeance, that's not his style, but yeah. Yeah.
Not
anyway,
you,
very
but maybe
excited
me.
about. But yes, maybe JD's character. So, Thy Kingdom Come, coming soon.
Heck yeah. And I didn't introduce myself at the beginning. I realize that now. But hey, I'm Andrew. I run the game, and sometimes the plots come together, and that's really cool. That's all I got. So I need to find somebody to raid. I should have done that while people were talking. I didn't. Whoopsie doodle. All right. Well, anyway, what you're gonna do is you're gonna see the thanks for watching screen, and we're gonna raid somebody. It'll be cool, probably. Wow, the people we usually hang out with are online. Huh. Well, I'll find somebody.
February's been weird. Everyone is just like resetting. Enjoy your extra day tomorrow, everyone. Enjoy your leap day.
Yeah.
That was today, right?
Yes,
Today's leap
today's
day.
the 29th.
Yeah.
Is today the 29th? What day is
Yeah.
it? What?
Yeah,
Today's
it's 29.
What year is it?
We are the extra day.
Oh.
Enjoy us.
Well, I will try to find someone to raid, but in the meantime, you can see thanks for watching screen, and thank you for everyone who donated. So have a great night.
Good night, friends.
Good night.